say hi to the vlog? Everyone wants to say hi to Cupper Bunny. Hi, Bunny. He doesn't want. Okay. Hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It is Shabbat over here. I don't know what day it is that you're watching this, but I hope that you're having a very, very good day. I haven't done one of these videos in a while in which I just talk. Now, I do talk a lot in every video. You might see Buttercup's tail coming in and out of the frame like this. So I was thinking about a subject that has come up just because of natural circumstances. Israel is literally always being rebuilt. There's old infrastructures, everything's being torn down, put up again, and for the last 5 months, either on my street or around me, there has been construction going on. But what I was thinking about is not just construction on the outside, but what construction looks like on the inside when you are having work done in you. So I want to sort of take you back to a few years ago for me, and I moved to the States and was just trying to rebuild my life. I was very, very lonely there. I lived in Texas, in Louisville. In my apartment complex, around it, there were other apartment complexes. And so in the evening, sometimes I would take myself for a walk and just see the things. And one night there was like a really bad storm. And if you guys have ever been in Texas, the storms there are very like dark skies. There's sometimes tornadoes, there's thunderstorms, there's hail. Like when it rains, it pours. So that happened, and a few days after that, I'm taking a walk into one of the apartment complexes. I can hear like a siren, and it's like a siren of like an alarm, like an emergency, and it's not stopping. And I look at the main entrance. So like with every apartment complex, and like raise your hand if you're from the States, you probably know what I'm talking about. You have like the main hub where you have the reception and you have a pool, maybe a gym, and then you might have like apartments around it, and then you have a lot of different apartment like buildings. And so in this particular place, what happened is I'm looking, and it's like, it looks like an apocalypse. It looks like everyone just fled for their lives. The whole part of the building in the entrance was basically burnt to a crisp, and everyone's like their balconies and their windows were open. Their like objects and furniture and clothing were just like strewn all over the place, and it just literally looked like everyone just like got up and left. And I could hear this like alarm going off, like woo, 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 and it's just continuing again and again and again, and it's not stopping at all. There was someone there near the mailbox, and I asked her like, what happened here? What on earth happened? And she basically said that a lightning bolt had struck an AC unit on the top floor, and that AC unit basically caught fire, exploded. Part of the building up front like just went into flames because that spread, and because of the flames, all of the water sprinklers went off. All of it was just like absolutely flooded. And I'm looking at this building, and you think like, oh my gosh, it was very eerie and very strange. That place has literally just been devastated. This place has been devastated. Everyone just got up and left. There's no life going on there anymore, and it's like in a constant state of emergency. You just feel the urgency of whatever just happened. And even though it happened maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, the fact of the matter is that that building was still in a state of emergency. No one can come in and collect their remains of their furniture and their stuff. It was literally just a wreck of a place. Now, at some point I had, left, come back on another walk. I could see that you could actually have access inside the building. Now, I don't recommend trespassing, so don't take this example. I tend to be a bit curious and adventurous, but because there was no one there, I thought to myself, oh, it could be cool like to walk inside and see what's on the inside. And so I did. And I go inside the middle, and I see there like this whole pool in the middle between the building, and I'm looking, and there's debris around, and literally everything still looks like it's just been neglected and left. That was during a time in my life in which I feel like I left Israel in a place of like devastation. Someone just tore out the insides of my life. I was in a state of emergency, and I left. I had to leave. I remember looking around at all of the apartments and thinking how weird it was that there used to be life there. There used to be life there, and everyone had forgotten about that place. Literally all the other apartment buildings were living their lives. They would just pass by this building that has been neglected for months because it hadn't been rebuilt since then. It was so weird because it was like an external representation of how I felt on the inside. Everyone had moved on with their lives, and no one really realizes that you were devastated and you didn't move on so quickly. Your life was still in ruins. You were still in a state of emergency. You have been abandoned, you have been neglected, and there's no life within you. And during that time in life, I felt very misunderstood because something can happen to you that's a devastating thing in your life, and because it hasn't happened to someone else, they're just sort of like, are you still dealing with that? Or aren't you over it? Or you just need to let go. And they don't realize that for them, maybe they saw the emergency, they saw the building catch fire and the sprinklers and everyone running for their life, but after that they go to their apartment and they're happy, but they don't realize that for you, life hasn't moved on, that you are still under construction, you are still recovering. I looked around and I felt compassion for the building, and I realized that what it is that I needed is I needed to feel compassion for myself, that life didn't move on so quickly, and things were still not settled, and life still wasn't in that building. There wasn't anything there for me to offer. No one could come in. I decided that in that place, I'm going to find calm. I'm going to love this place. I'm going to have compassion for this building. And I just went inside the pool. And the pool had some random little bits of debris, like leaves and stuff like that, but it was technically okay. And I found myself just swimming in that pool all on my own, with a very sort of haunting looking building around me, in which you feel like this isn't allowed, this is forbidden, almost to feel so good in a place in which there's been so much devastation. I guess that's the thing, like when something like that happens to you and you feel devastated, there's not a lot of good that's happening on the inside, right? But to have that little tiny piece of relief and self-love of just swimming in that pool and finding relief on a very hot Texan day, that caused me to have compassion for myself, to just accept the fact that even though others might not understand, it doesn't mean that I can't find understanding towards myself. And I think that that's really important to have during times in which you are growing, because most likely no one's going to give that to you. No one's going to be like, oh yeah, take as much time as you need. A lot of times people, they don't have that much compassion or not that much understanding of the magnitude of how much something devastated your life. And so that really taught me a really, really important lesson. Putting that aside, that was one experience that building really taught me to have compassion for myself. Fast forward a few years to today, my surroundings have been under construction for a very long time, meaning 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. my whole street has been under construction. My whole balcony is completely covered in dust. Everything's noisy. It's just everyone was complaining. Complaints about how long the municipality is taking to do this construction work. After 5 months, they finished this last Thursday. And I don't think that I've seen one tiny piece of gratefulness, not one post saying, I'm so grateful that it's done and over. And I think the reason for that is that when we're under construction in our lives, we tend to complain a lot. I tend to be like, oh, what's happening? And da, da, da. Now, it's a habit I'm trying to change. If you leave me up to my naturalness, I am not a positive person. I have always looked at the bad side and the negative side of things because a lot of bad things have happened to me in life. And you're sort of taught to believe, well, this is just how it is and this is how it stays and whatever. That's not true. Eventually, these things do pass. You grow, life changes, you mature. And I wish that in life, I would have the maturity to show so much more gratitude during the time of construction and not just after it. I think once you're in the habit of actually being grateful for things, you also have that for later on. It's not like, okay, now it's done, now I'm grateful, because that doesn't actually stick, because gratefulness is a habit that you practice every single day. And I don't want to find myself being one of those people that complain for months and months and months and months, and then they finally have what they want, or there's the change that they want to see, and then they're like, wow, thank God, and then they sort of forget about it. Like, wait a second, didn't something really amazing happen? The nature of construction is not comfortable, you know? They literally take these huge machines and they take out everything. They devastate the area. Nothing is like it was before. Everything is uncomfortable. There is nothing about it that is great or fun or loving or pleasant. It literally is just a time in life where you're just like, this sucks so much. I hate this. When is this going to end? Yet maturity says, this is super necessary. I need to embrace the process of what this is and be grateful for the fact that I have the ability to be constructed again. I don't want to be a person who's just okay with, I don't know, the mediocrity of life. I hate the sentence when people say things like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I'm like, that is not true. Us wanting to change and surrendering to the process of change willingly in maturity, I think that eventually makes the process of construction so much more, I don't know if to say pleasant or easy, but more bearable. And it helps you to actually see the end goal and not just what it is today. If I look at these two cases with the building that was devastated and my, let's just say my street that also was devastated with construction. On one hand, I'm looking at something and I need to have compassion for the process, but I also need to have gratefulness. Because whatever this process is, it's teaching me to love myself. It's teaching me patience with my surroundings. It's teaching me patience with other people when they're going through a season of construction. And I guess it just makes me want to look at myself and my own life and try to go through the processes of change when God initiates them so much differently. Because by now at age 32, I need to know how to do this. I need to know how to have compassion to myself in the process when no one has for me. And I also need to have graciousness, that's not a word, to be gracious with myself and thankful that this process is necessary, it's initiated by God, and even though it's uncomfortable, I will become a different person. Once I'm out of this, I will become changed, I will become greater than I was before and more in the image of God than I was before. So that was my spiel. I didn't even drink my orange juice, but I thought I'd give you guys a little break in the content of apartment stuff. But now you guys also can see my apartment as is. I will eventually give you guys an apartment tour, but there are things that are still not in place in the apartment, and I'm like, there's no point showing it when things aren't as they should be. So there's a little more changes coming my way that after that I'll give you guys an apartment tour. But my encouragement and my prayer for you and I today, whether you're a person of faith or not, is that during times of construction, that we will be patient and compassion full, how do you say that word? Full of compassion for ourselves, and also grateful in the process, because whatever's happening, it's helping us get to a better place. So I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for this apartment, and I'm thankful for construction. And if you're new here, then welcome. My name is Oriel. I'm from Israel, as you can see by the title. And feel free to join this little tiny community. Hit the notification bell, hit subscribe, share it with a friend. And if you're not new here, then welcome back. I'm so grateful for you. And I'll see you guys in a vlog very soon.